us as sellers, we use the tools and we try to influence what we think our product is. But Amazon's like, yeah, Kevin, you can say that your product's the best, or it does this or this or this. But reality is what the customers say.
Well, hello, and welcome to another edition of the E-Commerce Evolution Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Curry, CEO of OMG Commerce. And today I have an esteemed guest. This guest is a legend in the Amazon space, billion-dollar sellers. My guest is Kevin King. He's the host of two podcast, Marketing Misfits, with our mutual friend, Norm. Also, the AM/PM podcast with Helium 10. Been hosting that for 2.5 years. He's had over 220,000 students host the Billion Dollar Seller Summit, the Billion Dollar Seller newsletter, and then he's also an Amazon seller. So he's doing this stuff in real life on a daily basis and is just doing very, very well. So probably didn't need to do that introduction, because if you're in the Amazon space, I say the name Kevin King, you know the guy. So with that, Kevin, welcome to the show. And how's it going, man?
It's going great, man. You talking about all my gray hairs, how I got all my gray hairs here, I'm not doing all this crazy stuff.
I'm joining you, man. I'm joining. I got the gray and the goatee here. And so it happens. It happens for sure. But yeah, you and I connected at our mutual friend, Tom Shipley's event in Nashville.
I think we met before. I think we met at a traffic and conversion years ago.
We have, for sure. I
think we met somewhere, or maybe even more than that, maybe.
I think you're right. I think it's been TNC. We both spoke there, and then a couple other events. But most recently was at Tom Shipley's event. And as we were chatting, we're like, we got to do a podcast together. What are we doing here? We haven't ever made it happen. So, and we're 300 episodes into the E-Commerce Evolution podcast, and just getting Kevin on the show.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's kind of, I was looking that up. You do a little research on ChatGPT. That less than 1% of podcasts get to 300 episodes. So
I just went to the podcast movement show in August in DC, and they actually said there that the average podcast makes it to 7 episodes.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I heard. There's this phenomenon called pod fade, where podcast host is like, I thought this would be more fun, or I thought this would be easier. I thought I'd publish one episode and become famous. It does not happen, right? You gotta it's a grind. It's a grind, but you gotta love it. So, a variety of topics I want to talk about. Kevin, I want to get into AI a little bit as we go. I know you're doing some really unique things with AI. I know you're talking to just some of the top sellers on Amazon, some of the top brands that are doing cool stuff on Amazon. But you introduced this concept that I was not very familiar with at all in one of your newsletters recently about GeoRank. So ranking on Amazon from a geographic basis, or at a geographic level. Can you explain what GeoRank is and maybe some misconceptions around ranking that negatively influence the way people approach selling on Amazon?
Yeah, sure. So Amazon, for the longest time, it was no matter where they had the product, they would ship it to you. So that's why it was 2-day delivery. So if I'm living in Austin, Texas, and I order some construction paper that's sitting in the closest warehouse is Los Angeles, Amazon would get that over to a warehouse near to me, and within 2 days, and get that to me. Maybe they should sent that by Prime Air. Maybe they sent it by, before Prime Air, they were using regular airlines and the cargo holds and cargo airlines, and they would get that over close to me. And they you know what, this is getting a little bit expensive to actually do this. We need to change this system to where we only show results for what's nearby, so we can get it to them the same day, or we can get it to them within a day and cut down on our distribution costs. We're going to charge it. At the same time, we're going to raise the fees to the sellers so we can make a little bit more margin.
But that has been the theme of this year. How do we charge sellers more?
Exactly. But if you take a look at their P&L, look at how much more profit they had off of that. So they're raising the price and cutting the expenses, so which is smart business.
Totally.
But so what they've done is so they basically went to it was a direct route. So it's like in the old days of airlines before deregulation, where if you wanted to fly from Los Angeles to Waco, Texas, there had to be a direct plane, or you had to go through some other little city. And then the airlines came up with this hub and spoke system where they said, okay, we're going to have hubs. And like American Airlines, for example, has a hub in LA, Phoenix, Dallas, Chicago,
Dallas. Mm-hmm.
Miami, JFK, and Charlotte. And almost all their flights at some point go through one of those hubs. They do have some directs in between, but almost all the flights go to those hubs, and then they disperse the people out. It's a much more efficient system. So about 2 years ago, Amazon started like, we got to get control of this distribution system. We have, I don't know what the number of warehouses they have now is, 300, 350, something like that.
It's a lot.
So what you used to do is you would send into what's called a cross dock. And so when you go in to fulfill to Amazon FBA, Amazon would say ship it to these 1, 2, or sometimes you get lucky and they say ship everything from Austin to Dallas. Other times they split it up into 3 locations, all based on their algorithms and where they need the stuff and their systems. But a lot of times for more of my business, I sell wall calendars, I would just ship to Dallas. It's convenient for me. Austin to Dallas, it's cheap, gets there today, gets checked in quick. And it would go to what's called a cross dock. And these cross docks have like airline code. All the Amazon warehouses start with like the same as the local airline, DFW1, DFW2, whatever. And those docks didn't store it. Where I was shipping doesn't store the product. It actually disperses it out. So if I send 1,000 calendars in, their algorithm will say, oh, take these 1,000, break it down, send 27 to Waco, 16 to Sherman, 25 to Houston, and 82 to Austin, whatever. And they were paying on their dime. They're charging us indirectly, but to get them out to those warehouses, to get them closer to the customer. And then they decided this last year, like, this is stupid. We need to regionalize this and do the hub and spoke system. So they broke it down into 8 regions. So Amazon now has 8 core regions in the United States where everything in that region is serviced by that region. And so they really don't want to show you something for sale if it's not in stock in that region, because it's going to cost them more to get it to you, and it's going to take longer. And so if you're not in stock.
And I think another important point to note there, Kevin, one, the operational efficiency, and really nobody understands logistics like Amazon, but they also know that if they can show a customer, hey, you get this tomorrow, or you get this within however many hours, that increases conversion rate. Purchases go up. The shorter the time lag is between clicking and buying and getting the product, the more people buy. So showing people what's local increases conversions.
The case in point is last night. It was 10:30 at night, and I was doing some sort of a little project. I needed some black cardboard stock to put behind this little picture. Now I go into Amazon and it shows me a bunch of stuff, and this was on a Tuesday. It says a lot of it will be delivered on Thursday or Friday. I'm like, no, I want the stuff that's going to be here in the morning. It's 10:30 at night. And so I click on the filter that says next day delivery. Show me only the results for next day delivery. And it filters it down to 200 instead of 600 or whatever. And it showed up, I ordered 10:30 at night. It showed up at 8:45 this morning. It's crazy. It's local. But Amazon knows that. And so they went to this system where now when you ship into Amazon FBA, they're asking you to do ideal situations 5 or more locations, because they want you to share some of that cost and spread it out. Otherwise, they charge you a fee. So now they're not. In a lot of cases, they're moving more and more towards this, where they don't show results if it's not local. So your results for when you type in black cardboard paper in Missouri may be different than mine. Totally. So knowing that is going to influence your rank. And if you use some of the tools that monitor your ranks, Helium 10, other software tools monitor your rank, you might see different results than what I see, because based on your IP address. So there's ways to influence that, though. Just like in retail, if I'm going into a Walmart and trying to get into a Walmart store, let's say in retail, Walmart takes my product and says, we're going to test you, Kevin, in 100 stores. Before we roll you out to all 4,000 of our stores, we're going to test you in 100 in Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and Florida. And see how it goes. Well, I'm like, I want a list of those stores, because I'm going to go onto Facebook or somewhere, and I'm going to target those cities and run ads for my product and say, hey, my construction paper is now available in Target in Huntsville, Alabama. Go pick some up. Here's, send me a picture of it, and we'll send you a free gift or whatever, so that people are going in and buying it. Then the executives in not Little Rock, in Arkansas, Bentonville are looking at it and going, holy cow, this stuff is actually moving. Kevin, your
Right.
stuff is doing
Right.
good. We're going to roll you out to 100 more stores. You game the system that way. The same thing you can do on Amazon. So you can influence. You can't really dictate where you ship your products. Amazon doesn't
Right.
let you say, well, you can use tools like Helium 10. And there's other ones, Smart Scout and some others. They'll show you heat maps, and they'll say if they take a look at, they tie into the API of Amazon. They take a look at the back end and they say this is where your distribution is. So Amazon may say you have 1,000 units in stock. Well, these heat maps will show you exactly which warehouses Amazon has them in based on the API.
Interesting.
And then you can target. You can say, oh shoot, looks like Minneapolis I'm a little bit low on. I'm not ranking very well on Amazon, and I know I'm selling well everywhere else, but for whatever reason, Amazon hasn't sent enough, or they can't keep enough in stock in Minneapolis. Let me influence that. So, but I can't go in and say I want to ship to Minneapolis. Amazon dictates that. So I go in and influence Amazon's algorithm the other way. I go and use Pinterest ads where you can actually geo-target, or use DSP on Amazon where you can geo-target, and coming soon to sponsored ads. I think it's in a beta invitation only now. You'll be able to geo-target your Amazon ads, and so to actually influence that. So that's coming, and it's pretty sophisticated, and it's what a lot of sellers are not aware of it and how it's affecting them. They've been testing it, playing with it for a while, so this is nothing like groundbreaking, just didn't announce last week, but it's becoming more and more and more of a factor as Amazon gets their systems dialed in.
Yeah, I really this is really exciting to me because I think a lot of people are just thinking about Amazon as where do I rank on Amazon, or how do I show up organically or in paid on Amazon. But there's no such thing as just how do you appear on Amazon. It's how do I appear to unique users in geographic areas, and where are their opportunities. And yeah, while you can't dictate exactly where Amazon stores some of your stuff, you can influence sales in Minneapolis, and you increase the velocity of sales. They're going to get more product there. That's going to make things work better. Now, what I was also looking at, Kevin, as I was reading your newsletter is, so Amazon wants to show stuff that's close. So I'm in Missouri, so whatever whatever region we're in, that I can get stuff in the next day or two. That's what I'm going to see first. But they're also looking at what is selling in my region, right? They're also looking at what's popular, what's moving in my region. And I remember reading this as well, where Amazon knows that, hey, North Face sells really well on the East Coast. Patagonia sells better on the West Coast, right? And I'm kind of making some of that up, but that's true. Like, there are different brand preferences or product preferences in different geographic regions. So they're going to rank things differently based on what's selling in a region.
Yeah, exactly. And some of that's where you may get shoved out by Amazon. So that's where you use the outside traffic tools like Pinterest and some DSP and other stuff to actually influence Amazon. So now they think you're selling well in that region. And so that actually bumps you up on the list and bumps you up in the rankings.
Yeah.
But Amazon,
So
I don't know if you've ever done this, but it's amazing the amount of data Amazon has on us as buyers. Have you ever asked for your report from Amazon?
I never have. We use Quicken, and so I can just look at my purchases on Amazon. I'm always like, I cannot believe how much money we give to Jeff Bezos every year. It's an astonishing amount. But no. How do you get the data on
There's
your?
a link. You could probably Google this. I can't remember off the top of my head. It's an Amazon official link. It's for buyers. I'm not talking about for sellers. There may be a version for sellers, but for buyers,
so you can see your buying history on Amazon.
Oh, it's way beyond that. No, it'll blow your mind. So I did it for me. Just if you want to do this, just Google. It's free. Google Amazon buyer history download PDF or something. You'll probably find the link. You'll have to log into your buyer account, and then it'll take you to a page, and you click a button, and it will spit out a PDF. It takes it. It's got to pull it from its Oracle databases and whatever. So it takes it a few hours. You'll get an email link to this PDF. Mine went back to 1999, first time I used Amazon, and it was 742 pages. But it's not just what I bought. You would think, okay, of course they know, Kevin. Of course they know everything I bought. I can look at my Quicken. I can tell you the same thing. No, it's totally everything I've ever watched on Amazon Prime. How much of it I watched, where I stopped, where I paused, how long I paused. It's every the fonts on every computer I've ever used, the IP address of every computer I've ever used. It's the screen resolution of every computer I've ever used. It's everything I've ever had to wish list and taken out. It's every link I've ever shared. It's every address I've ever used. It's every game I've ever played on. It's every video I've ever watched on.
So
any of
I'm sure this is released now due to privacy issues, right? Like
yeah,
Amazon's maybe
it's been around a
forced to
few
release this.
years, but they
Yeah.
don't publicize it because they don't want you to know
Yeah.
it. It's scary. They know everything, and that's we talk about AI and LLMs and stuff. They don't. They got their own LLM right there. They know everything about you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They know
And I think
everything
you
about
could maybe argue that Google has just as much or more data on
you.
like what we look for and what we like online. But I don't know that anybody has more data on what we buy.
No.
And plus the combination of all those other things, like Amazon, the amount of Amazon data that they have is unreal. And I think it's a large part of the reason why they've become the number 3 online ad platform, right? Like leaning into some of that data creates great advertising opportunities as well.
Well, you look at too. I mean, one of the things I say right now is take it beyond just those TikTok. I mean, I always say if you want to know somebody, ask them, can I borrow your phone for a few minutes? Scroll their TikTok feed.
TikTok knows
and
you
you
for
will
sure.
know everything about that person, what they're into, what they're currently watching, just based on that feed. It's so good. It's scary the data that's out there. There is no such thing as privacy in the United States.
That is a really good point. Really good point. Yeah, privacy is kind of an illusion, I believe.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of illusions, like as we look at like what are some of the myths around GeoRank, which I think we talked about. But how do we influence that, right? How do we influence that in a greater way? So we can see maybe where we're not selling as well regions.
Yeah.
We run ads, we run DSP, we run YouTube, we run Facebook, whatever, to try to get the sell through in those areas.
Exactly.
What else can we do to influence that?
That's the major thing right there is running those outside, is that outside traffic in those weakened areas to actually influence that. That's basically where you can try to help influence it right now. That's pretty much all you can truly do right now.
Totally makes sense. But it also makes sense that, hey, if we're looking at Helium 10 and we see what our ranking is, that's kind of just a nationwide number, right? Or that's wherever. Well, actually, maybe we better clarify that. It's wherever it's pulling. It's where it's being pulled from.
Wherever their server, wherever their VPN pulled it from.
Got it. Okay. So then how do we get that region level data? That's where we look at Helium 10 and kind of look at those
There's
heat
some
maps.
other tools out there that will actually let you choose by region, ranking by region, and they're using VPN. So they're using a VPNs or
Nice.
not VPNs. They could be using actual physical servers in different locations. And I think that's coming to Helium 10, where you can actually see the 8 different regions, and it'll break it down.
Nice.
Okay,
cool.
Regions.
So love that. I think that's going to be news to a lot of people. GeoRank, you don't rank the same way in all regions across the U.S. It varies based on a number of factors. Talk to me about Cosmo. Cosmo is also a unique thing, newish thing on Amazon that influences search results and impacts both sellers and buyers. But what is Cosmo? Cosmo
is Amazon's AI engine that interprets your listing, basically. So Cosmo is built, it's hosted on AWS. There's several components to it. Amazon Comprehend is one of them. Amazon Comprehend will take a look at your listing and will comprehend what is this listing really about? Because us as sellers, we use the tools and we try to influence what we think our product is. But Amazon's like, yeah, Kevin, you can say that your product's the best, or it does this or this or this. But reality is what the customers say, or what do we think? And so, or how are you wording this in such a way? So Cosmo takes a look at that and it analyzes the sentience. It analyzes the customer reviews to see what they're actually saying. It analyzes your pictures. So it actually goes in and analyzes your pictures. One of the examples I give is if your Amazon listing, let's say you're selling beach umbrellas, and that's your listing, and you got a bunch of pictures in your image stack of different umbrellas, but one of the pictures doesn't show it actually on the beach, physically on the beach. Maybe it's people holding it, maybe it's walking with it. And maybe you also are trying to get other buys on this beach umbrella. So you want people to buy the rain umbrella and other stuff. So you're not concentrating just on the word beach, but there's no pictures of the word beach. So Amazon sees that in the image stack. There's no beach pictures here. We're not going to serve this up, but we're going to deprioritize this. And
you say it's a beach product. We don't see it as a beach product based on your product images. So no go.
So we're gonna put it down, even though you're running ads on it, maybe getting some conversions. All right, we'll give you a little bit of love for that and raise you up a little bit in the A9. but we're not going to rank you fully on it. So they're analyzing that. And I did a test. There's a tool, luva.org, I think it was, that you could upload a picture, and I have the AI analyze this picture and tell me what it is. I took my cell phone, and on the back of my cell phone, I had a little case. This little case was, I'm an old guy. I had reading glasses, so it's like little fold-out reading glasses, and I pull them out. And so I took a picture of my phone on the ground with the little reading glasses just kind of sticking out to the side, and I put it in. I said, "What is this?" And it misinterpreted it. It misinterpreted the image as a mobile device, a mobile phone with a keychain. It's not a keychain. It's a little eyeglasses that sit on your nose.
Interesting. Sure.
Eyeglasses that sit on your nose. And so then I took the picture and I rearranged the eyeglasses, took it out from underneath, half of it underneath, and positioned it differently. It got it right.
Yeah, because they thought the glasses were connected to the iPhone.
Yeah. So those kinds of things are now, that's part of Cosmo. It's called Amazon Recognition. And
Interesting.
And Amazon, you can go to AWS and type in Amazon Recognition, upload photos, and Amazon will spit back what they think it is.
Yeah.
But they're using that to now analyze and try to determine patterns and what you're really selling and what the customer is really looking for. What's the actual intent of the buyer? And I think it's going to get to the point where in the not too distant future, where it's not going to be keyword searches anymore as much. Amazon will never get away from that because there's going to be some people that do it.
Totally.
But they're just going to get more intent based. It's going to be where I type in, I'm taking a trip to. It's going to be more prompting. I'm taking a trip to Clearwater, Florida, with my family. What do I need?
Yep.
What do I need? Amazon. We just talked about this 742-page PDF. They know everything I've got. They know that maybe I don't have children, but let's just say I had children. Maybe they know that I have an overweight 12-year-old because I've been buying, larger sized kids' clothes or something for a 12-year-old.
Right.
They know that my wife has a sin sensitivity because she's always buying these creams of some sort for, skin. So it's going to then suggest, in my suggestions, oh, you're going to Clearwater, Florida. When are you going? And maybe ask a question or two, qualifying question. Oh, I'm going July 3rd. Okay, July 3rd to the 10th. The weather's going to be this and this and this. All right, here's what you need. You already have a beach chair. We're not going to show you any beach chairs. Or maybe we're going to show you one because you bought one 4 years ago and you need to upgrade. Here's the new version. And it's going to show you, you need this SPF 50 for the wife. You need this for the kid, the extra wide chair for the kid, beach chair. You need this, this, and this. And you need a beach umbrella. Let's just throw that in there. Whatever. And that's the type of stuff I think you're going to start seeing more intent-based results rather than keyword-based results. So
it makes a ton of sense. And I think in the near term, or even now with Cosmo, we have to understand, what does the AI think about my listing? What does the AI think about my pictures? And it's no longer just keyword stuffing and gaming the algorithm. You
got to sell to the AI.
It's feeding. Yeah, you got to sell to the AI, and I think there's still good overlap between the two, right? The things that work.
You can ride the fence right now. Yeah. Right now, it's still, you got to do it the old way. If you quit doing the old way, you're going to shoot yourself in the foot. But the new way is coming, and it's coming. I don't know how long it's going to be. They're testing. Rufus is the test of this. So Rufus is the next. It's taking the Cosmo data and let's put it in instead of a technical way, let's put it in a way that the average user can interact with. And Rufus is only on mobile right now, and it's a little rough around the edges. But so was the first iPod. So was the first iPod. So they'll get this dialed in. But that Rufus taking the Cosmo data and taking your history and taking what it knows about you and trying to suggest. And there's I'm not the expert on Rufus, but my friend Vanessa Hung has figured out ways to actually influence that on the back end. And a lot of that is by making sure that you're not just keyword stuffing, like you said, that you're actually talking situational things. And talking and putting situational stuff and filling in all those back end little fields that a lot of us skip. Some of the simple things of fabric and color and whatever, but being very complete and thorough, and that and actually giving thought to exactly what's in your images, not just the pretty images, but actually images that'll convert, but also giving thought to what's the AI gonna think of this. And then you take that a step further. I have not played with this yet. It just came out. I have a story coming in my newsletter about it. So I'll be playing with it tonight, actually. But Perplexity just introduced shopping. And a lot of people that have been playing with it have been saying it's better than Rufus.
Interesting.
It ties into Amazon. So actually, it's better. It's a better tool to get results on Amazon than Rufus itself.
Hmm.
And it's shopping. And they did it just in time for right before Black Friday and Cyber Monday we just had. So they did it just in time for that. And they're saying this is the next evolution of shopping. And it's not just going to Amazon, it's going all over the web and picking stuff. Google's doing some stuff, with the Google Lens.
Totally.
They're doing, there's a ton of that kind of stuff coming, and you're going to see this evolving and becoming more and more and more. It's a shift in the way you search, but so
Right.
I don't know how the adoption rate will be. 3D movies were supposed to be the next hot thing 10 years ago, and everybody was buying 3D projectors and getting little glasses, and that didn't take off. So maybe it doesn't take off, but I think this is going to take off, and this is where the future is going to be.
Absolutely. I think exactly what the flavor is, or is it Rufus or something else, but this is going to be the future for sure. And I think the thing we got to think about now is, we always used to talk about SEO. We still do. It's still relevant, but SEO for Google, SEO for Amazon. But now we're also like optimizing for the AI, right? Because I do think the way most users are going to interact with platforms, the web in general, but also Amazon and other places to shop, is going to be kind of with an AI assistant. I would love to get your take on Rufus and how popular I think it's going to be. But I watched my 7-year-old son use my iPhone. He was shopping for he wanted to get this toy from the movie Cars and like this tractor trailer thing. And I didn't tell him to do this. He saw the Rufus thing. He clicked on it. And he started asking it questions like, "How big is this? Will this fit? Can I drive the car into the trailer?" Stuff like that. And I was like, "That's really interesting, right?" But that's probably the way we're going to interact with shopping platforms.
Yeah, and that's how you got to start doing your back end, is figuring out what are those questions when you launch
Yes.
a new product.
Yes.
It's focus groups. It's knowing your customer, and it's going to get to the point where, right in the past, we've been able to control our destiny in a way by controlling the keywords. Look for the opportunities. Look for someone where someone else is not optimizing on these keywords, or only 3 people are, and there's a lot of depth. I can just go fill in the gap, or I can beat this guy because I got a better price or more reviews or whatever. That control that we've had is going to start going away, and it's the control now is on the AI, and you got to start selling to an avatar. You got to truly know your customer, truly become a true brand. A brand's not a logo and a name, but a true brand, and actually know your avatar and know what are the questions that a 7-year-old is going to ask, because that's our audience.
Yeah, it's so powerful. And this is something we've been speaking about for a long time. I know you have too. Is that, long-term success on Amazon, it's building a brand, not just selling products, right? Selling products, anybody can do that. That's going to come and go. But building a brand, that's about really understanding who are you serving. So what's your positioning for your brand, and what problems are you solving? And yeah, having that clear avatar picture, and then understanding what are the use cases, what are the questions, what are the problems, what are the things someone needs to know, and how will they interact with the AI, so I can bring that to the surface, or allow the AI to bring that to the surface. Really powerful, and it's a different way of looking at it.
One of the things I teach in one of our most recent presentations I just did in Singapore, and I'm doing it on a webinar soon, it's on the psychology of marketing. I'm known for lots of hacks and stuff, and teaching hacks. And hacks can be great and can get you out of the bind, but like you said, it's not long term.
Right.
But the psychology of marketing, your 7-year-old, the way he's approaching things is the same as you and I did 30 years ago when you were 7 and I was 57. No, I'm just kidding. It's the same. It's just different technology and different ways of doing it. So if you understand the underlying psychology, and so I did a presentation called The Psychology of Marketing and how to do it on product sales. And one of the things I heard this actually on My First Million podcast, a guy named George Mack, really brilliant advertising guy out of the UK. He said that you should actually do the advert before you choose the product. So not the other way around. Right now, we choose the product based on all these tools, and then we create advertising around it and say, no, it needs to be first, what is the problem? Then go figure out how you're going to sell the problem. And in 2 seconds or less, you need to they need to say, that's me. Not 2 seconds to stop the scroll, with some
Right.
sort of crazy waving or crazy flashing or whatever. But
Right.
2 seconds, they look at it in 2 seconds when they're his words or when they're scrolling, they don't give an F about you. And they're like, oh, what's that? Oh,
Yeah.
that ad is me. That's my
Yep.
situation. That's my problem. That's my solution. 2 seconds. And then what's the product that fixes that, that solves that? A perfect example of that is of doing this is the baby changers. So you go into airports when people travel. This last Thanksgiving, everybody's out traveling. You're traveling with a baby. Sometimes you need to change the diaper. So in the old days, you find a place to do it, and then now a lot of us have seen those little things. There's a little diaper changing station, a little thing that folds out of the wall.
Yeah,
It comes
totally.
down, makes like a little table. Well, the people that were manufacturing that 15, 20 years ago were trying to sell that to airport facilities managers or whoever manages the stuff in the airport. And they were putting this out and putting out pretty pictures with the thing, how it folds out and folds back up, of happy families, mom, dad, kid, all sitting there smiling, holding a happy baby that's not crying. And that was their ads that they're using in their brochures and their marketing. And they sold something like a little less than $1 million, maybe $800,000 worth of these things. They then changed the marketing to a single picture. And the single picture was a bathroom stall, dirty as all get out, with toilet paper on torn toilet paper on the floor, a little bit of pee on the toilet, and a woman leaned over with a baby on the ground trying to change the diaper because it's the only big space that she had. And then they put a tagline up.
It's horrifying, right? It's like
horrifying.
we got to change this. Yeah.
Sales went to 800 million.
Wow.
That's what I'm talking about. Is when you guys start thinking about it in those terms, it's problem solution.
Yep.
And that's how you.
And that's why I think that's why Amazon, before they launch a new feature or before they launch a new initiative, what they do internally is they start with a press release, right? They start with what's the press release? Same thing. What's the ad going to be for this feature?
Right.
How is the customer going to benefit from this? Should we even do this?
Yep, that's a good point. It's exactly the way Amazon does it. Is start from the end and work backwards.
Yeah.
And I think so many of us start the other way around in the Amazon world. Another thing you're talking about, like an AI that I'm testing right now, that's just scary. We're talking about privacy and how much Amazon knows about you. There's no privacy in the U.S. Is I'm doing two things right now. There's a fellow that I'm testing this with for my newsletter. I've been running newsletter ads on Facebook and doing lookalike audiences to my list, and and it's doing all right. But there's a guy that came to me and said, "Look, I have an AI tool that combined with a couple other things that we're doing, I can find out anybody that's searching on Google. So if anything that's typed into the Google search bar, I can create custom audiences of that without them even knowing." I'm like, "What? How are you doing that?" So don't worry about it. We got it figured out. I'm like, "Okay." And so I said, "I'm game. I'll try it." So you can say that if I want, I'll test it for my newsletter. So I want people that are Amazon sellers, 7, 8, 9-figure sellers. So what would they be typing into the Google search bar? They'd be typing in Amazon seller support, Amazon seller central,
right.
Tips for DSP or something. They're not going to be typing in, how do I sell on Amazon? That's a new person. I want the experienced people. So I gave him a list of keywords, and he went back out and pulled a 2-week trailing report of 484,000 people that supposedly fit that audience profile. He then imported that automatically into Meta, into a custom audience into Meta. And I'm testing it right now. We started 5 days ago, and it looks like it's freaking working. We're doing lookalike on it, and we're doing direct to them raw. And it looks like it's actually working pretty damn well. And then he was able to take that information, those 484,000, overlay it with Apollo and some other stuff, and give me this spreadsheet that's got like their physical address, their LinkedIn profile, their all this other data, their age, all kinds of other crazy stuff. And so I'm like, holy cow, you could do this across like all kinds of platforms for all kinds of products, and like dial in better than what Facebook is dialing in. It's still early. Give me another couple weeks, and
yeah.
This may, but if this works, my company Dragonfish that I mentioned earlier, we're going to be offering this up. I'm not going to get that source out right now, but there's another fellow I just met in Montreal this last weekend. I was up there on some other business, and we met with him, and he's doing personalized stuff with AI right now. So where I can set up a landing page, enter my email address, You could take it a few steps further and ask a few questions if you want to. Like Levesque's ask method, all knowledge, you ask 2 or 3 questions, makes it better. But just with an email address, instantly he can actually go out and figure out who I am. He reads all my social media. He reads any blog post I've ever posted, anything that's out there on the internet, reads everything about me, and they can customize the next page to me.
Wow.
So the next page says, hey, let's say hey, Kevin, since you're a Texas A&M Aggies football fan, and the big game is coming up Saturday, because I posted about something, you might be interested in X, Y, or Z, or I'm an Aggie too, or whatever. He can customize it, and he can do this with emails, set up an email sequence that customizes each email. I did a test with him. I just gave him the URL of my website, $1 Billion Sellers, and he sent me a 5-part email series as a test, and it's freaking dialed in. Looks like this guy researched me.
Crazy.
It's powerful, and he says it's in beta, and the people that are using it are seeing ridiculous conversion rates. And he just did it with he's going to do a press release. He did a press release I was trying to get press, for somebody. And rather than just buying a press release, he went out and had the AI pull all the reporters that have ever written about, I'm just going to make this up, a slow feed dog bowl.
Right.
And here's all these reporters that put in Engadget and Gizmodo and whatever ever spoken about a slow feed dog bowl, and find their email address, because it's usually in their byline, or find their contact, or using Apollo. And then he told it, go read all the articles every one of these reporters have ever written. And it read all the articles, and then it created a custom message to every single reporter that said, hey, Brett, great job writing for the Washington Post. That article you wrote on XYZ on the dogs was amazing. It really did this and this. And the other article you wrote about blah, 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 blah. And this one, did you know that we have this new dog bowl that does XYZ? Because you said that was a problem you'd like to see in this other article you wrote. We'd love to send you one if you want to take a review of it. The person gets that, like, holy cow, this person researched me. He does all this in a matter of 15 seconds, 30 seconds. That's where we're going to in marketing. Is this power? Yep. I'm about to test it with postcards, where it's custom postcards to every single person. So if I'm selling boots, hiking boots, and I know that I get you to come to my website, and I can even use retention.com or DataZap, or not even have you enter an email address and probably match up 50% of you. I could then, Brett, you come across my website, I'm going to know exactly what you're into, because I'm going to immediately use DataZap. Oh, there's his email address, brett@omg.com or whatever it is. And then, here's all the posts he's made. He may have mentioned that he's going to take a trip soon with his family and go climb Mount Kilimanjaro in Africa. Let me send him a postcard, drop a postcard in the mail, not a Facebook ad, because postcard marketing still works very, very well. I'm going to send a postcard in the mail automatically. The postcard is custom printed by companies that do this. It's tailored to him. It has a picture of Mount Kilimanjaro, has a picture of my boots, and it has something to the effect of, I'm not going to say I know that you're going there, because that would freak you out. But I'm going to say
a little too creepy, yeah.
Not too creepy, but I'm going to say something to the effect of, hey, as an avid hiker that's concerned about the quality of the seat and wants to be able to hike an extra 3 hours a day without sore feet, our boots are the best boots. People have used them from Mount Kilimanjaro to Everest and beyond, and they're great. And you're like, holy shit, I'm going to freaking Kilimanjaro.
It's crazy.
I need the boots I need. That's where it's going to get to. And that's
and I think really what AI is allowing is all the little things that would take hours of research or an unthinkable amount of time to actually execute on. It's allowing it at scale, right? It's allowing these customizable messages and direct outreach and building audiences and all these things that we'd love to do, but either need a massive team of people to do or just can't do. In general, AI is making that possible for sure. Good. What else? Any other perspectives on Rufus or Cosmo, or what we need to do as sellers to really take advantage of those?
The biggest, read my newsletter, of course, $1 Billion Seller. There's always tips and strategies and tools in there. But beyond that is really be thinking about selling to a customer, not to a keyword. Selling to the AI, and doing enough testing to know what are people asking? Monitor, looking, and right now, you may not know you're launching a new product. I don't know if my 7-year-old is going to ask, does the fire truck fit through whatever you said your son was asking? I don't know that, but maybe they've been asking that question in some of the other similar products or other similar toys. So analyze those reviews and see what people are asking. Look at the Q&A section. And analyze that. Go to Reddit. Reddit's a massive tool right now. And Reddit has exploded in popularity. It's been around 20 some odd years, just went public. But Google put a bunch of money into it. And when Google put the 100 million or whatever it was investment into it, they actually boosted it in its ranking. So Reddit is exploding, but there's a lot of tools that will monitor Reddit threads, and there's a lot of good discussion that goes on in these threads of pain points and of issues that people are looking for beyond just what you see on e-commerce platforms. And sometimes you can get some really good insight off of that. So taking that kind of data and then structuring it in a way like, okay, what am I really going to focus on here? You can't, maybe it's too massive to try to include everything, but what am I going to really kind of focus on here? And maybe you create 3 different versions of your product. And each version is slightly different packaging, slightly different color or whatever.
Right.
One's a little bit
built specifically for an avatar.
Built specifically for an avatar. And that's where you got to go.
Yeah, this is the headache pill. This is the low back pain pill. This is the soreness pill. Like it's maybe all the same active ingredient, just slightly different, but different product position.
Tylenol does that.
Totally.
Tylenol migraine, Tylenol this, Tylenol EX. It's all, you look at the ingredients.
The main active ingredient's the same. There's some other things added, but
exactly.
Yeah, and so I think, man, I love the points you made there. Where hey, build the product for a customer, not for a keyword. Think about that avatar. Build a real brand. The AI is going to be able to uncover that. Optimize so that the AI can uncover what's going to be most important to your shoppers. Think about how to really influence rank, not just on a national level, because that doesn't really exist, but think about those GeoRank opportunities. Love that. And of course, subscribe to Kevin's newsletter, the $1 Billion Seller newsletter. I'll link to all of that in the show notes. But Kevin, how else can people connect with you? So if people are like, man, I need more Kevin King in my life, I need to attend some of these events.
It might be dangerous for your health, dangerous for your wallet. But no, I mean, I'm on LinkedIn. I just a year ago, August of last year, I got on LinkedIn for the first time. I was ignoring LinkedIn and it's growing pretty good. So I post on LinkedIn. So that's a good way to reach out. Just Kevin King or $1BillionSellers.com is my newsletter. It's free every Monday and Thursday. A lot of action. It's not a marketing email. It's a lot of actionable tips and strategies and news about what's going on in the world and tactics and the latest in the software side and everything. So those are the 2 best ways, probably.
Awesome. Check it out. Kevin King, ladies and gentlemen. Kevin's been awesome. Can't wait to schedule round 2. And I will not wait another 300 episodes. It will be much, much sooner.
Awesome. I appreciate it. It's been fun. Thanks for having me on, Brett.
Absolutely. And as always, thank you for tuning in. We'd love to hear more from you. Give us the feedback on the podcast. Leave us a review on iTunes if you've not done so already. And with that, until next time, thank you for listening.